Greetings, mathematicians. Here we have the warm-up. So graph the inequality, and don't forget to shade. This first one, we have y is less than negative 2x plus 4. This is in that slope-intercept form, so this is a really nice one. So let's go ahead and identify what is the slope and what's the y-intercept. The slope in this one is negative 2. The y-intercept is positive 4. Okay? And the other thing that we have to keep in mind is we have that inequality, right? So this is less than. Less than means that we have a dashed line, and then we need to go ahead and check that ordered pair to make sure that we have the correct shading, right? So either above or below. So let's go ahead and plot that point. So we have the y-intercept of 4, so that goes up here. And then we have a slope of negative 2, so down 2 over 1. Just follow that pattern, okay? And again, we have that less than, so it is going to be a dashed line. Make it as straight as you possibly can. And then again, we have to test the point, right? We need to test the point. I'm going to use 0, 0, and we're going to see what happens. So if I test 0, 0, let's do it over here. So we have test 0, 0. That's going to leave me with 0 is less than. We have negative 2 times 0. That's just 0. So we have 0 is less than 4. That is a true statement. Meaning 0, 0 is part of the solution, right? So here's 0, 0. So we're going to go ahead and shade that region. So we're going to shade that region that 0, 0 is in. So we have this region right here. And that's our graph. Let's take a look at that next one. So we have 2x minus 3y is less than 6. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do the x and y intercepts. Right, that's going to be a good method for us. So if I do that x-intercepts, okay, right, I take my thumb, I cover up that negative 3y because when I substitute in y equals 0, that just goes away. And I'm left with 2x is equal to 6. I'm going to go ahead and write that out. So you have 2x equals 6. Okay, just go ahead and solve. So we have x is equal to 3. And as an x-intercept, that is 3, 0. So I'm going to go ahead and erase my work. And we're going to go ahead and do the same thing, but for that y-intercept. So for that y-intercept, we're getting rid of this 2x, right? Because 2 times 0 is 0. And I'm left with that negative 3y equals 6. So you have negative 3y equals 6. Okay? And I just go ahead and solve. And I'm left with y is equal to negative 2. So I'm left with 0, negative 2. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and graph those points. So we have 3 zeros over here. We have 0, negative 2 is down here. Follow the pattern. Okay? And then I see that inequality, it is less than, right? So less than means that we have that dashed line. And again, I like to use the ordered pair 0, 0 to test to make sure that we're shading the correct region. I need more work, so I'm going to go ahead and erase that. And we're going to test 0, 0 again. Okay. So this left-hand side, 2 times 0 minus 3 times 0, that's just 0, is less than 6. Again, that is true. Meaning that 0, 0 is part of the solution, so it is in that shaded region. So I'm going to go ahead and shade that region as well. So we have this region right here. And those are our graphs. Okay, so learning target 18, systems of linear inequalities. And our essential question, how are systems of inequalities graphed? How do we write the systems of inequalities given a graph? Okay, so system of linear inequalities is just 2 or more inequalities written in 2 variables. And then the solution, we're going to have a common shaded area, right? So we're going to shade the first inequality. We're going to shade the second inequality. There's going to be an overlap of those 2 shaded regions. that is going to be our solution. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at what that looks like. Oh, let me go back. So here are the steps. So we're going to graph a system of inequalities. So you graph that first inequality. You have the solid versus dashed line. You need to remember shading. You're going to do that for any other lines that you might have, any other inequalities. And then this last step is you're going to darken that common shaded area. Okay, so the first example that we have is this system of linear inequalities. We have y is less than negative x plus 3, and then we have the x plus 4y is greater than or equal to 4. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's use red for this first line. So that is in that slope intercepts. So I know my slope is negative 1. My y-intercept is 3. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and graph that. So we have a y-intercept of 3, goes up here, and then we have a slope of negative 1. So down 1. Okay, look at your inequality. It is less than, so a dashed line. Okay, and then test that ordered pair 0, 0. So we'd have 0 is less than 3. Once it's simplified, that is true. 0 is less than 3. So we're going to go ahead and shade that bottom region. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at that next inequality. So I see this looks like standard form to me, and it looks like we can use that x and y intercept really nicely. So let's go ahead and use the color white for that. So we're going to go ahead and use white for this line right here. We're going to find out what's the x-intercept, what's the y-intercept. So this 4y, when I plug in for 0, right, this just goes away. So my x-intercept is x equals 4, right? So the ordered pair is 4, 0. Okay? I'm going to find out what's that y-intercept. So the y-intercept, again, this, when I plug in, the x goes away, and I'm left with 4y equals 4. Okay? So now I just go ahead and solve. So I'm left with y is equal to 1. And we have the ordered pair 0, 1. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and switch to black for this one. So let's go ahead and use black. So we're going to go ahead and graph those points. So we have 4, 0 is over here. And we have the ordered pair 0, 1, which is up here. And then follow that pattern like that. Look here, inequality greater than or equal to. So it's going to be something similar to that. And then we need to determine that shading, right? So again, when I plug in the point 0, 0, this is 0 plus 0 is 0. We have 0 is greater than or equal to 4. That's false. Now I'm going to go ahead and shade, right? So 0, 0 is down here. It's not a part of the solution. So we're going to go ahead and shade this region right here, everything in here. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. And remember, we're looking for the common shaded area, right? So I see the red area is all, let me use a better tool. So the red area is all this area. The black area is all this. We're just interested in the common overlap, which is this section right here. So I like to take another color and just really highlight to make sure that I know that that is the correct answer. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Let's use this purple to indicate that this is my answer, this one right here. We don't care about anything else. This is the solution that we're interested in right there. Oops. Okay, so we have example 2. We have this system right here. Y is less than 2, x is greater than or equal to -1, and then that one down there. So let's go ahead and use our colors. I'm going to go ahead and use red for this one. So that's a pretty simple one. So let's identify the x-axis and the y-axis. We have y, so we're going along the y-axis up to +2. Plot that point. It is going to be a solid line. Okay. And then less than means that we shade below. So let's go ahead and shade below that line. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that next line. Let's use orange for this line right here. So we're going along the x-axis. We're going to -1. Plot that point. And then we have a solid line, so it is going to be, we have an equal to, so it's going to be a solid line. And then we're going to go ahead and shade to the right because we want numbers bigger than -1. So let's go ahead and shade to the right. We're using that orange. So we have that right there. And the last thing that we need to do is graph that last line, which we're going to go ahead and use yellow. So I know the slope is just 1. M is equal to 1. My y-intercept is -2. Let's go ahead and look at what that looks like. So we have a y-intercept of -2. That goes down all the way down here. And then y-intercept of 1. Okay. Use the dashed line. And then y is greater than, so y is greater than. We're going to go ahead and test the point 0, 0. So we have 0 is greater than -2. That is true. So that means that we shade above that yellow line. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to shade above that yellow line. And then we're looking for what is that common shaded region. If you look, the common shaded region is that little triangle right in the center. So it is this region right here. I'm going to re-highlight those dashed lines. We have the solid line right here. And then I'm just going to go ahead and shade this region right here. That is the solution to that inequality. Okay. Example 3, we have y is less than 3, y is greater than 1. Let's do it. So I'm going to go ahead and use red for this top line. So again, identify your x-axis and your y-axis. Y is less than 3, so go up to the third, go up to 3, and go ahead and use that solid line. We are going to shade below that line. So we have shade below that line. Okay, let's go ahead and do that next one. Let's use orange. Actually, let's use yellow for that one. So we have yellow. And we're going to go ahead and go along the y-axis again up to +1. Dashed line. And then we have greater than, so we are shading above the line. So we're shading above the line. And again, I'm just interested in what is that common shaded area. It is this middle region right here. So it's this region right here, this little strip. So this is our answer right there. Okay, here's another one. Y is less than -2x plus 4. And then we have that other inequality as well. Okay, so we have, let's use red. So the slope is -2. the y-intercept is 4. So we go up to positive 4, and then we go down 2 over 1, down 2 over 1, all the way. Okay? Make sure you use a solid line, or I'm sorry, we're using a dashed line. Okay? Less than, let's go ahead and test the ordered pair 0, 0. So we have 0 is less than 4. Oops. 0 is less than 4, that is true. So let's go ahead and shade the bottom region, right? Because 0, 0 is in that solution. So we're going to go ahead and shade that region. Okay. Looking at that next inequality, this looks like standard form to me. Let's use that slope, or I'm sorry, let's use the x and y intercepts to help solve. So let's find out what's that x-intercept. So we have the x-intercept, right? The y goes away. I'm left with negative 2x equals 4. Go ahead and solve. X is equal to negative 2. So we are left with negative 2, 0. Okay. Same thing with that y-intercept. So the y-intercept, the negative 2x goes away. I'm left with y is equal to 4. And then we're left with 0, 4. Okay? So let's go ahead and plot those points. So we have negative 2, 0 is over here. And then we have 0, 4, which is all the way up here. And we're going to continue that trend. Okay? Look at your inequality. This is less than or equal to, so solid line. Just like that. And then test the ordered pair. So this is 0 is less than or equal to 4. Again, that is true, meaning that the origin is in the solution. So we want to shade this region right here, everything in there. We're going to go ahead and shade that region right there. Okay. So the common shaded area there is that bottom triangle. So we're going to go ahead and shade that. And that is our answer. Okay, go ahead, pause the video, try this one out. When you have a solution, go ahead and restart it and check for your answer. All right, so there's a lot going on in this graph, but you should see that the correct answer is that middle triangle. That's our solution set.